we both lost our leg being doing drugs. But, we're just trying to get back on track. He lost his leg too.
Both lost your legs from violence, yeah.
Yep. This was 2 years.
So now we live in the tent.
You don't know what you got until you lose it, you know?
We're in Chicago and we're about to go out with the Night Ministry Street Medicine team. Join us.
Homelessness in Chicago, it's not easy.
It sucks, but at the same time, we're fortunate because there are people who care. Night Ministries, top of the line. Winters are brutal, but
They bring hot meals, they bring clothing, they bring wound care, they bring doctors.
Yeah, it's really tough in the winter, man. If you can't get on the train at night, you've either got to have a tent and have a post like this where you can get hand warmers from somewhere like the Night Ministry every day and safety equipment. It gets real bad. I seen a guy the other day, his whole entire hand from this winter, his whole entire hand was like just rotted out from frostbite. And he fell asleep one time outside. So it gets tough, yeah.
I've met many people that count their time in Chicago on the street in the winters that they've survived. And it definitely bears its marks on people. I mean, almost anyone you see that's been out on the street through a winter or two has probably some frostbite damage because it can be so dangerous. And our shelter system just doesn't have the capacity to keep everybody warm in the winter.
All right, got some goodies for you. Awesome. Here you go, here's some hygiene kits. And then there's food, pipes, and socks in here.
Oh, perfect, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, you take good care. Good to see you, man. I am the street medicine outreach supervisor. 4 days a week, I go out on the street medicine van, making connections with our unhoused neighbors here in Chicago. We bring along sandwiches, harm reduction supplies, clean clothing, hygiene kits, clean socks, and then we provide medical care as well.
How'd you end up out here?
drugs, just
What got you started?
pain pills. I mean, I broke my ankle playing basketball when I was younger. It's just some chick that kind of I went to school with. She gave me better meds than what they were giving me for the broken ankle. And when those prescriptions were gone, it was West Side, heroin. Since then, it's been just a whirlwind of misery. There's been some good times, some sober times, but it's been rough. This is 20 years ago. On and off, yeah, for 20 years. I've had some stints of sobriety, a couple years here. I don't know what it is. There's like a magnetic pull that just keeps bringing me back to Chicago Avenue.
Hi, it's Night Ministry. We got the van here with food and water, medical, hygiene.
And has that been there like for months, weeks?
No, couple weeks.
Couple weeks, okay.
I developed an infection in my leg. I'm an IV user, but I don't shoot in my leg. I'm thinking it's the Xylazine they say it finds anywhere to come out of on your body, so.
With the types of opiate supply that we're seeing more and more in the US, it can cause wounds as almost like a side effect. When you are out on the street, it can be harder to keep those wounds dressed and clean and dry. So it can become a larger medical issue if they're not taken care of properly. So we take wound care pretty seriously.
Our clients, people with substance use disorders, are people, and they deserve to be treated with dignity.
Street medicine is so important. The Night Ministry going out every day with doctors to help people until they can help themselves.
I am making safe snorting kits. So these have 4 half plastic straws that clients can use to snort the substances. And then we also have clean plastic razors that they can use for that as well. We put them all in a little plastic bag, and that reduces exposure to contaminants and pollutants, either from using somebody else's supplies or from finding a straw on the ground. people have the dignity to make their own choices. We can agree or disagree with those choices, and we can give them information about the potential consequences of the choices they're making. But ultimately, we serve adults. In order for them to trust us, we allow them to make the choices they want to make. That said, if somebody is interested in either reducing the amount of using that they're doing or stopping entirely, they have to be ready for that. One of the biggest ingredients in successful recovery is the self-motivation to do the hard work of recovery. So if somebody isn't ready to go into recovery yet, then they're not ready. And there's nothing that I can say or do in that immediate moment that will change their mind from I want to keep using to now I'm ready. So until they're ready, we want to make sure that they're as safe as possible. You can't go into treatment if you're not alive. So we want to make sure that people, while they make whatever choices they make, we want to make sure that they're as safe as possible so that hopefully someday there can be an improvement in their life. And if there isn't, then that's okay. We still care about them, and we still want them to be as safe as they can be.
I've been in rehab more times than I have fingers and toes.
Wow. And that's why harm reduction is important.
Very important. If it weren't for these guys, I mean, I probably would lose my leg because I'd just be sitting in my tent and withering away.
And the people, they just think you can flip a switch and get sober. You can go into recovery and some rehab and like, oh, ta-da,
yeah.
My life's better.
If
it
there
doesn't work like that.
No, if there was a magic button, allow me to please see that thing, because that's horseshit. There's no, it doesn't, you don't just walk through doors and you're sober and you stay sober. It's a lot of effort. It's doable for, I believe, anybody, but it's not easy at all.
Not all of these things are a matter of willpower. This is more complex medically. It's really important to understand addiction as a chronic disease. Just the way we think about somebody with diabetes or high blood pressure, you know, we can't just say, oh, just stop eating sugar or stop having diabetes. It's not so simple. There are certain ways to care for that chronic condition, and we have more and more tools to be able to do that. So there's a lot to be said for harm reduction and safe use supplies, but there's also, I think, a lot to be said for reframing really how we think about addiction medicine.
Drugs take over people's lives. Wouldn't you think that when somebody loses their leg, that they would stop using drugs?
You see a lot. Street life, you know, drugs, prostitution, you know, just out here trying to survive. Like you, Trick, to get better, to do better. You know, I'm kind of getting tired of being tired. Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Bye, everybody.
How long have you been out here?
Oh man, I've been homeless since I was like 16. I had an abusive upbringing. My mother and my stepfather pretty much kicked me out when I was like 16. I was staying with a family member in Waukegan for a couple months during the winter. I think in total like 4 years I've lived out here. Once you've been out here for a while, it's like, it becomes institution to you.
Does it feel possible to get sober while you're living outside?
No, it doesn't. No, you can't get sober. I don't think, I can't.
We operate from a housing first model. It really is as simple as getting people into stable housing, and once they're in that stable housing, then we can work with them on getting a job, getting into treatment, taking care of their medical concerns, reacclimating to whatever life is going to look like for them. Really, housing is the first step in that. So when we house people, we do also make sure that they're connected to wraparound care, mental health services, physical health services, community partners, places they can go like food pantries to continue getting the supplies that they need while they transition back into being housed. But really, if somebody has stable housing and the resources that they need to thrive within that housing and to thrive within the change of going from being unhoused to housed, that's how we solve it. It is that simple and that complicated.